Hey salam everyone, this is Dr. Elsa. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a video like this. This is my first video of the new year, 2025, almost mid-year now. But I felt it was time. I wanted to give you some updates in my life. It's difficult to be positive as I hope to be with this type of video. We're living in a very dark moment in world history, but I wanted to be sure to thank everyone, especially my new subscribers to my channel. Really thank you so much, and I'm excited to continue this journey with you. This channel really has become a very dynamic channel. It's about empowerment, intersectionality, inclusion, changing our stars, essentially the inward and outward revolution, and ultimately curing stigmas by embracing the transformative power of tough conversations in our communities. Again, thank you so much to all my new subscribers, especially because you came on this channel through my recent videos from a recent trip to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I noticed that these are the type of videos that get the most traction in my channel, so it definitely was sort of telling me that I should continue along these lines, and that's part of the evolutionary process of blogging and vlogging, and I really appreciate that. On the note of Saudi Arabia, I basically posted videos just to archive them to be able to talk about that experience. A little over 2 months ago, I had spent the final 10 days of Ramadan in Medina and Mecca, a surprise trip gifted to me by my brother and my family. We surprised our parents. My brother accompanied me with my parents in that trip. I have a few more videos that I'd like to upload in the near future. Like I said, this channel has been about the inward and outward revolution and personal transformation through chronicling my own journey and discussing these challenging topics. I would really be remiss if I did not talk about that transformation that happened in my life. It was my first pilgrimage experience, the lesser pilgrimage, and it happened to be during Ramadan and a time that I was really seeking some change. So I really hope to do a more extensive video about that experience, to share that experience from my own lens. I am no expert at this. This is really my brother's area, but I was born to write, travel, and share stories. One who aspires to master the art of storytelling, and I have so many stories that I like to share from all my different travels in the world. In the meantime, I have been writing about it, documenting it both in my personal blog as well as my 2 newsletters. My first academic newsletter, the Qualitative Inquisition, and my new newsletter, which connects to my personal blog, the Chronicles of the Warrior Queen. But I hope to talk more about my newsletters in a separate video in the future. You may also notice from my other videos that I look a little differently. When I came back from Saudi Arabia, I just sort of decided that I'm going to continue wearing the head cover that I had worn for those 10 nights in the Blessed Cities. Honestly, I just thought, how could I spend 10 nights in the Blessed Cities during the month of Ramadan in 2025 and just come back and just take it all off? It just didn't make sense to me. I feel, especially at a time when I've been seeking that inward revolution, you know, that sort of personal transformation and change. There are moments where things just come full circle for you. You come back to yourself and the person that you were always aspiring to be, you know, perhaps even in your childhood. And it brought me back to the very beginning, especially looking back. I mean, I've kept this little project, my autobiography project, 1999, basically. And this was something that I did in my freshman year of high school. At the end, there's like a entire list of 50 goals in my life that I want to accomplish. And like frames of the future here included Hajj and Hijab. On top of the list, the top 2 in my 50 goals was to become a religious and practicing Muslim, and to travel to Mecca, where the Kaaba is, and do the pilgrimage. Number 19 is put on the hijab. Like I said, like it just brings you sort of full circle to who you once aspired to be. I like to share more of my story in a separate video entirely about the hijab, because I believe that every woman has her story, and I believe mine is quite interesting and romantic and fascinating, really. And I think it's only getting more interesting. I've been writing about it in my blog and, like I said, in my newsletters, and I have some articles linked in the description of this video. Love for you to read it and tell me what you think. I've pitched a few stories in different outlets. I'd like to do an entire video just on the hijab and just on the Umrah, sharing it in a couple weeks on this platform. Basically, I will look like this going forward in all my videos. So I hope it still brings people from other backgrounds onto my channel as I continue to stay authentic and advocate for authenticity, speaking the language of my soul from time to time. I would like to do a longer video on the Umrah, but generally speaking, that experience was just so memorable and beautiful. It really felt like a dream and so surreal to be out there, and it feels like a dream now. I've been dreaming about it since I came back. Just a beautifully, divinely orchestrated through my family for that moment was so special. Purposely wanted to share those videos on the Umrah experience on this channel so I can be able to talk about that experience and archive it. And so in the past 2 months, while I've been trying to manage my life and move forward with my professional goals, I've been processing this experience. I really believe this happened to me as Allah's decree, and at a time when I was feeling stuck and I really needed a change. In May, Mental Health Awareness Month, I was reflecting on how I had stopped wearing the hijab and pulled away from my dream of becoming a more devout Muslim and Islamic scholar as well, because of my depression, as one of the reasons actually, and ultimately came back to it because of my depression and the alienation and the solitude that I was feeling, similar to how I was in college. So I'd like to talk more in depth about that relationship I had with mental health and Islam in a future video. This is a sort of like a roller coaster relationship that I've had as well, similar to like the roller coaster relationship with the hijab. I really would like to dive into that further in the future video. How that sort of helped me with my suicidality as well. In this past month, I also wrote some poetry, and I wrote this poem in the beginning of this year, which I entered into a contest, and because I didn't win the contest, I ended up posting it on an indie publication, my first one, called The Memoirist. So this particular poem, Prisoner of Conscious Solitude, is linked to this video, and I hope to actually perform it. It really speaks to a challenge that I have been facing for the past 5 years. Speaking of hijab and speaking of poetry, I just came back just tonight from Busboys and Poets, my first open mic night of the year at Busboys. If you noticed in my channel, I've shared some videos of the past. The last video that I had, I shared a poem called Invisible Revolutionary. And tonight, I shared my most recent piece, which I had completed during America's National Poetry Month in April after coming back from the pilgrimage. And that particular piece is about the hijab, and it's actually a follow-up to the first poem that I wrote about hijab when I was 17 back in high school. Look forward to sharing that in a separate video. I really hope that you would watch that video and let me know what you think about that experience. I'm so glad that I wrote that poem, and I'm so glad that I went tonight. It was an empowering night, and it finally got me to do this video for you as well, because I was just at open mic. Last time I was there, I ended the poem just, following my heart by performing sujood on stage. Like after I said Allahu Akbar, which I finished every poem the past 2 years with Allahu Akbar, and similar to tonight, and I just did sujood. And then 3 months later, I'm in Mecca and Medina, and I come back with this first poem of the year with hijab on the stage. To be very honest, it does definitely feel like a divine providence, like divine signals. Just like when my brother asked me to join him during Umrah, I was reading Malcolm X. So before I finish this video, I just want to share two things. I am so happy that when I came back from Umrah, I had written so much in my journal, in my field notes there and on the plane, and then coming back, and then also on social media, and then also on my blogs. I'm so glad that I put it all down in writing, because as I'm rereading this, like, it really keeps me connected to how I felt at the time. With even tonight, with my time at Busboys and Poets, I really felt like it was a great way for me to reconnect and to continue keeping that sort of spirit of the Umrah alive. And I want to keep it alive because it's such a core part of our faith, and it really was essential to the revolution inside that I needed for me, and just how I want to move forward in my life. I really didn't expect to even come to hijab so soon. It's just sort of happened, and I'm just sort of following through with that. So I'm really happy that I wrote a lot of my reflections down, because it really keeps me connected to how I felt. And I'm going to continue reflecting and moving forward with this experience, and that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing when we go and meet the house of God and just be connected to the most blessed cities in the world. And I could sense when I was reading between the lines of my reflections how much I desperately wanted this particular change. I can tell based on what I wrote and how I continue to hold on to that as well. And I found it very helpful when I was in Medina and Mecca to carry a notebook with me. My brother recommended it as well, and just to write notes. And it was a habit that I've always had as a qualitative researcher to write field notes. So I kind of put my academic hat on as well and created a mini series within the Qualitative Inquisition, a field note series on my travels to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I've had a few articles written on there about the specific Rawda, the visit to the Prophet's grave, experience with my mother, and on Mother's Day special. And I have several other articles that I'm working on, about 7 or 8. The next article should be coming out soon on my first experience with Zamzam, actually. So I'm excited to share that with you as well. But I have the series in the description below as well. The other thing that I want to say is that I want to remind people that your journey is your own journey, and everyone has their own story. Everyone's path is different and unique and special. This was just my journey, and I said the same thing tonight when I performed at Busboys. Please honor it for yourself and share it if you feel like there's a message that would benefit others. I feel there is a message from my story, and that's why I'm sharing it. And I think that's perfectly fine to do. It's encouraged, and I encourage you. I hope that this also inspires others to share their own journey as well. You just don't need anyone else's approval for it. You go for it, and I look forward to seeing it from you as well. One of the things that I found very difficult coming back was just sort of processing, how you are at this state of enlightenment, and people are at very different stages. Sometimes like that light may be disrupted, or it's just not as appreciated. And you don't need that appreciation at all. Allah is sufficient and the best disposer of affairs. It's really hard to stay in the light when you feel like there's a pulling you down to the darkness that you were in before. So I found it very hard to sustain that while I feel like I was just so overloaded, and this is why it sort of took me a while to get to this video. That's why I think the writing, the sharing, the sort of and the dhikr and the prayer, just keep it fresh and don't allow people to pull you down. There are people at very different stages, and they're just, not everyone is going to be welcome to that light, and that's okay. That's understandable. You just keep trying to keep that light shining. There are people who do value it, so don't be afraid to share it just because there are a few evil eyes out there. Lastly, I would really be remiss if I did not speak a few words on Palestine. It is just a deeply devastating situation, as we are all aware, and my prayers are with the people of Palestine. And this is really, as many have said, the final chapter for the Gaza genocide, and I will continue to be very disappointed and disheartened by all those who I know who have not spoken up. We all sort of feel hopeless. There is some hope, but everything we do matters. Everything we say matters. In sort of changing this narrative and saving an indigenous population from extermination. And I hope to devote whatever small platforms I have to continue speaking up on Palestine here on YouTube, in my newsletters, and social media and beyond. And I hope you do too. I wish I could have done more, but I will continue to try to do whatever I can in modest capacity that I have. I had recently written a letter to the children of Palestine. It's my second letter that I included with this traveling and online exhibition that I shared in the past, linked in this description. The exhibition is called Letters of Palestinian Childhoods. I've included that with a link to my Medium article about that as well. It's the second of the 2 letters that I have with this particular exhibition, and some other paintings there as well. I also did this Gaza 5K that I've been supporting in the past 10 years with Unrwa. It's the Unrwa Gaza 5K on May 31st, and I shared some short videos earlier. So I've linked that fundraiser and the article that I wrote about that on my blog below in the description as well. Not enough. It's never enough. It never feels like enough, and it isn't enough. And I'm just I'm disappointed in myself I couldn't do more, and I look forward to doing more. There's a march that's happening soon at the end of this week. I wish I could have been on that march. This global march to Rafah. Over 10,000 people around the world who are joining that march. Just had the incredible story of the Madeleine Flotilla happen. As an international solidarity movement, we're just going to keep doing what we can. Inshallah. Like I said, this channel has always been about that personal transformation, changing our stars, and the inward and outward revolution. I post videos on a variety of formats and topics, addressing social stigmas, vlogging and documenting my own journey, mental health advocacy, and many from my travels, my poetry, my art videos, Palestine marches and beyond, and also my academic journey, which I hope to continue to share. It's my PhD journey series. I'll restart that this summer as well, because that story too is not over yet. It is continuing, and it's only getting more interesting. So please do subscribe to this channel and follow the journey. I'm excited to share more content and continue the story with you. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Again, to all my new subscribers and to all those who are still with me, thank you so much for listening. Let's continue these conversations. Free Palestine. Thank you so much. Assalam, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Tastes good. See you next time.